Hey guys, it's Cobalt here, and welcome back to another customizing time-lapse video. In today's video, I am customizing the wolf character from the new Puss in Boots movie, from Puss in Boots: The Last Wish. That movie is so awesome. Literally everything about it is amazing. I've already seen it in theaters 3 times, and of course, the second that I saw this character on screen, I knew that I had to make a custom of him. He is undoubtedly one of the best, animated characters of all time, and definitely the best DreamWorks villain of all time. I don't really want to spoil anything about the character himself, because I know that the film still hasn't come out in some countries like the UK, so this video will be totally spoiler free, but if you've seen the movie, you know why this guy is so awesome, and if you know me, you probably know why he's my favorite, other than the fact that he's a wolf, and I think wolves are cool. But anyways, this guy was so fun to paint. As you can see, he is made from a head swap with a Generation 2 fake Great Dane body and a Generation 3 authentic Husky head. If you want to know how the heck you head swap a Generation 3 LPS with any of the older Generation LPS, I actually have a tutorial for that up on my channel with the same exact head swap. This custom right here is the only reason why I attempted to teach myself how to do this head swap. It works super well, the head still bobbles, and I'm just so happy with how amazing that it looks. But as you can see, I also sculpted a ton of stuff on this guy. The main prominent thing that I sculpted on him is of course his muzzle and his teeth and his nose. So the actual Husky head that I used has a very flat muzzle, but this character has a super long muzzle because of the way that DreamWorks stylizes their wolf characters, and of course I really wanted to translate that into this custom somehow. So I started off by just putting like a big thin clump of Kneadatite onto his muzzle, and then I waited for that to dry, and then I went over with some epoxy sculpt and smoothed that out so that he actually had a real muzzle shape. And then I also created the nose as well. The nose is a combination of more Kneadatite and epoxy sculpt, and then for his lips and his teeth, that is just Kneadatite. I put that on after the full muzzle was dry, and I was very worried about it. Even after I sculpted it, I wasn't entirely sure if it actually looked good, but seeing this guy totally completed and painted now, I am so happy with how that looks, and that's definitely a technique that I want to use in the future because it just looks so awesome. As for the other stuff that I sculpted, he has some little fur on the top of his head that I sculpted, same with the sides of his cheeks, and he also has some fur inside of his ears, which I added as well. On the body, he has these like ropes or bandages on his arms and legs. Those are sculpted with Kneadatite once again, same with his pants and these little knee pads that I added. And then his tail, I started off with a Kneadatite base, and then the actual fur for the tail is with epoxy sculpt. And then I also forgot to mention that he has fur on his chest, which is also sculpted with Kneadatite, and same with his claws. So there's a bunch of stuff that's sculpted with different types of clay, but all of it worked together. And if you're curious as to what he actually looked like when he was just sculpted, this is what it looks like. And then of course when I painted him, it all comes together into a cohesive design and character. I also forgot to mention that I sculpted his little angry eyebrows because I did want to change the shape of the eyes a bit more to make him more menacing, because he is a very menacing character, and the sound design associated with this character is also so cool as well. And I just love everything about this film. If the film is available currently where you live, definitely go and check it out, especially if you're watching this video now. The movie is still in theaters, and I would seriously encourage you to see it on the big screen, because not only is the sound design amazing, but also the visuals are killer. Speaking of visuals, the whole movie has a very painterly aesthetic to it, and I definitely wanted to incorporate that into this custom. Obviously that's super easy because this character is being painted, so I can really incorporate all the different brush strokes with a real paintbrush. So I definitely incorporated that a lot with his facial markings, adding a whole bunch of little splotchy colors, and I think that that really helped the custom come together. And of course I also dry brushed a bunch onto his white, so he has a bunch of different shades of gray mixed into the white as well, so he's not just a solid white base. Finally, with everything, I did sort of a wash of a very dark brown. It was actually very dark brown mixed with black, so it wasn't pure black, but then that also helped bring out the definition of the sculpt, because that is also something that I wanted to help capture, was the sculpting job that I did, because I'm super proud of that as well, and I didn't want to get it lost in the paint. I'm also super happy with the way that I painted his eyes. Again, as I do with all these characters that I make based on other fictional characters that already exist, I use a lot of references. So for this guy, I used a ton of references from the film, and I really wanted the eyes to be in a similar style to how they are in the film, so I mixed a bunch of different colors together. And even with the little eye shines, there's a very specific style that the film uses for the eye shines in the character's eyes, and when I painted those, I wanted to give them sort of the same appearance as they have in the movie. So that's really all that I have to say about this custom, and to talk about the character without giving away any spoilers. Again, please go and see the movie and keep the spoilers out of the comments, but we can still have a little bit of a conversation about how awesome this character is. If you want to make a custom based off this character, totally go ahead. He is not my original character. character, but of course this is my original interpretation of the character in LPS custom form, so I would really appreciate it if you did not copy this guy exactly. Please put your own spin on the character, because even though I do not own this character, copying it, you know, stroke for stroke is still plagiarism, so keep that in mind. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching this video, and now enjoy the reveal of the custom.